What the fuck is happening, fam? It is your boy, the Soulness Sativa, the Ayatollah of Indica, aka the Hickson of Hash, aka the Goran Ryan of Gosh, aka the Holy Hash Hash, and aka Johnny Hash, aka Brahemp Lincoln, aka President of the United Bakes of America Donald Blunt, aka Willie the Cool Penguin, aka Ned Sparks, aka Dwight Durbin, aka Lord Bongtimore, and I'm here with another brand spanking new episode of the number one can of podcast on the planet. Let's talk about it. If you're new here, welcome. If you're old here, welcome. If you're somewhere in the middle, this isn't your first time, maybe it's your second or third time or fourth time or fifth time, welcome back. Keep coming. I got to put my glasses on. I couldn't find my shades, but this fucking light and the fucking little screen, big screen, getting killed with blue lights, man. I hate when I get one little scraggly tobacco piece hanging out. And that's right. I smoke my shit with tobacco. Sorry, not sorry. Um, if you're new here, welcome. Share the fucking show. I don't say it enough, and I expect you to know to do it. But already nobody likes me. I'm kind of an asshole. I tell the truth, and people don't like it. I'm honest, and I can't seem to figure out why. Oh, I know why. Because it's the right fucking thing to do. Man, I kind of like having this. I could do a little lean. The bar had a little leg day. Start the fucking show. It's late night. I'm zooted on some coffee, smoking some rainbow gelato. Got some water. Need that. Feel like I'm so dehydrated. This is not actually core water. It's fresh Pennsylvania spring water in an old core bottle that has broken down and I'm sure is just leaching microplastics. Those are coursing through my veins. They're in my balls. Um, they're everywhere. Can't get rid of them. Forever chemicals, little piece of plastic. They say it's about a credit card's worth of plastic a week that we ingest. I feel like I've talked about this before, but I just don't believe that. I think that's bullshit. Or maybe we do, but is that what's giving us cancer? I don't know. Is it the nanobots? I don't know. Is it the food? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a little bit of everything. Pesticides, microplastics, pasteurized milk, NASA. It's all of it. Okay. NASA's the reason why you have cancer in your ass. And if I get cancer in my ass, guess what? Blame it on NASA. If you're new, sometimes I have different like formats for the show. You might get an interview, a Q&A hangout, conversational type piece, with somebody that's either a friend of mine, somebody I just find to be interesting, somebody fucking cool. I don't know. I've got a whole bunch of fucking episodes with guests, including Joe fucking Hardcore, uh, Rick Glass, ex-Marine and cannabis advocate, Robbie Baker, Noel, wonderful musician and artist, singer-songwriter, piano player, mother, God's child, Nyambe Tosh, Peter Tosh's daughter, multiple cannabis company owners, Dr. Kim McGeorge. That is a fucking A1 episode, okay? She gives it to us rough, rugged, and raw, funky style. We talk Anunnaki, we talk fucking it all. I need to I need to reach out to her about possibly getting fucking Isaac on the show. Isaac, I think Isaac Weishaupt. If you don't know him, he runs the unpopular culture, pop culture and symbolism podcast. I can't think of the exact name of it, something like that. Symbolism and pop culture or something. Anyway, he's like a left wing conspiracy guy. Totally different vibe. Not that I'm like a right wing conspiracy guy, but I feel like I just the last few years have really been getting lumped into that category for some stupid fucking reason when I'm fucking not. Left wing, right wing, either of them. I like the sovereign 50 states, man. That's it. I don't like the government, any of these governments. I have different formats, so sometimes I talk about the homies. Sometimes I do some solo dolos that are a little, some that are long, some that are short. 20, 30 minutes, some an hour and 30 minutes. Who knows? I've even had some solos over 2 hours when I was doing some deep dive research, going over some House bills, like the Maryland cannabis one, when that came out. for the regulated market, which took a lot of shit out of the gray realm and they put it in black and white, man. Those taxes go right to enforcement, brother. It's funny, man. It's really funny. Other times I have the BNN, Baltimore News Network, okay, where I bring you interesting things across the internet that are some are pressing, some are not. A lot of the time, I don't just like jump the gun with shit and I want to record about something, but there's like a lot of moving pieces, and I just know that if I wait a couple days, some more info is going to come out. And you can't jump the gun because sometimes they make shit look one way, and then a few days later, when more facts start hitting the arena, oh, shit changes. Kind of like that Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony situation. If you don't know what that is, that was uh, the young um, the young doctoral student who was on the wrong side of the track meet for another school and got in their way. When asked to leave, stabbed a man in the chest, and by a man, I mean another 17-year-old high school student. So, and then his dad totally cucked to like mainstream media, the fucking other family, don't make this a race thing. And yeah, it doesn't have to be a race thing, but you always see you always see one side hurting the other. Not that there's even sides. It's actually fucking stupid to like look at it like that, per se. Because at the end of the day, as an American, we gotta work together, man. We all are here. Although there have been many times in my life where you almost feel like you're gaslighting yourself into thinking that some of these people even like you. Like they don't inherently just hate you because of the color of your skin, you know? Who knows? People, man. But when I do the Baltimore News Network, sometimes, a lot of the time, it's cannabis related. I feel like there's just been so much absurd shit going on. I've kind of left my roots a little bit on the cannabis side. And I do think it's important to keep people abreast of what's going on in the cannabis world, especially across the country, because Maryland, where I've had the most experience, and DC kind of sticks in their own little bubble. It's two different worlds. I don't even know what you would say the DC medical cannabis culture is like, but in Maryland, it was fucking whack. I tried. I tried, God damn it, but these people. And I definitely was playing scared, I think, at some points with some of the shit I was doing. And I'll never forget my business partner telling me, if I want to be in that realm, there's going to be a day I'm going to have to give up the realm we were in. I think he's right. It's just like, unfortunately, the realm that I was in is what makes me important to the industry, and that's having an ability to articulate clearly what the fuck is happening, which the only thing people care to like cover or really give you is strain reviews. There's no challenging media. The media, it's all just like these editorial fluff pieces that are all pay for play. I've mentioned them 1,000 times, and I hate even giving them any publicity. But that shit is a scam. And I only want to work with like two companies because I like them. And I feel like most close, the people, honestly, it's like the people that I've worked with the longest in the industry. But nothing's really changed. It's not like there's a ton of new people or license holders to where it's like, oh, okay, this is the companies that I want to work with. There's like monopolies. You've got some shitty companies that just grow as stuff as much bullshit as they can in a greenhouse. They don't care how moldy it gets, none of it. They'll just remediate it, run it, give it to you for cheap, put it under five different brand names and packagings, and try to trick you and confuse you and make you think that you're getting something different. It's the illusion of choice. It is 100% exactly what goes on when you go to any grocery store, Target, Walmart, any box store. You might see a wall of hundreds of products, different brands, flavors, smells, whatever's, but they're actually only owned by six companies. Like it's insane. That was where I really saw little Freddie Mercury stash having Ian Carroll. He was doing TikToks about who owns what in these grocery stores. And it's fucking insane when you start looking at it. But since no one wants to bring you the boring old news, they just want to fucking suckle at the teat of these companies because they think it's cool. It's weed. Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm fucking about to be 37, and I still get stressed out driving around about some weed. Like, come on, man, you gonna arrest me over a little bit of weed at 37? Why do I even have to think about that? Why do I even have to worry about that? It's really quite absurd when you think about it. But yeah, so I got, hmm, I've got three articles here. When I do the Baltimore News Network, typically I pick about three articles or so. If it's something kind of that piggybacks on another, maybe I'll do four, or if they're kind of short or I don't really have a lot to say about it, then, we'll do that. But I got three. Figured it's a couple of good ones. I'm going to start with article number one. Two out of my three from my favorite news source. Some guys that really do the damn thing, and I'd love to have on the podcast here at some point. I need to reach out to them, honestly. I use their shit enough. They should give me some sort. They should let me write articles. I don't even like to write articles, but I feel like I would like to do it. Whether that was for the culture or what. Maybe I. Who knows? Beer Bros, hire me. Give me some bread. We'll do some cool cultural pieces. We'll get it out there. Because I turn on reactions to expression. Oh, okay. I don't need any video effects right now. Okay. Riverside. Okay, so first one's in Maryland article about Maryland passes House Bill 413 bill as family and advocates fight for Harold Jr.'s freedom. I don't know who Harold Jr. is, but I bet we're going to learn about him. And it's Maryland, so I know y'all give a shit because this is mostly my listener base is primarily in Maryland. I know this from the analytics. Okay. Maryland, DC, Pennsylvania, Virginia. Those are my main places. We got small demographics out in Deutschland. Oh, my homies got me, homie. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That song is such a banger, bro. Oh my God. I can't get over it, dude. Can't get over it. But I fucking, dude, he's even making me so mad because while he's putting out these bangers, except for Cousins, not a banger. Don't like you normalizing gay incest. Even on old HH, he's fucking on HH. He's talking about how he likes to get cuckolded. What? Why does mainstream society highlight these cuckolded motherfuckers? How do y'all like to get cuckolded? I talked to this girl that I used to mess with fucking 15 years ago, 16, maybe even, I don't know, 21, 16, 17 years ago. I don't know, somewhere around that. And she said something, she posted something, and I like responded kind of talking shit. I didn't know if she had a boyfriend. Thought maybe. I hadn't seen a picture or post of him, and I've seen plenty of thirst traps in the meantime. Anyway, I said something along the lines of show me your tits, and she did. Send me a picture of the tits. They were great tits. Two kids. Still had great tits. They were great tits. Wonderful tits. They were a pair of American tits. If you like tits, they were great. Good nipple to tit ratio. Um, and we were talking. I said, "Oh, blah blah blah." I was talking a little shit, spit my game. Said something about how I don't know the exact wordings. Something about the blowjobs that she used to give me, which were quite great. Anyway, she said something, and then she was like, "Yeah, blah blah." Uh, you know, my partner likes when I film myself having sex with other dudes, or he likes to watch if he's there. And then she was talking about how it benefited her and, made her feel good and confident and it was cool and whatever. And, I gotta just tell you, you know, if you're my girl, you just need to cheat me. What I don't know, ain't gonna hurt me. Now, if I find out, it's gonna be a problem. If I find out, it's a problem. But assume that I'm not even looking, because if I don't feel like I have to, I'm not gonna. And if I feel like I have to, I'm probably going to leave anyway. Because why bother? Although, my baby mom amassed quite a TikTok following, and a lot of it had to do with her just talking shit about me. So, anyway, Harold Jr. This article is from April 24th. A powerful new law in Maryland known as HB 413 has been signed into law, opening a critical pathway for incarcerated individuals like Harold Morris III, who is currently serving a de facto life sentence for a nonviolent cannabis offense. His father, Harold Morris Sr., wait, his father, Harold Morris Sr.? Wait, did they skip Jr. and went right to the third? I don't understand. This is some goofy shit that I do not get. Anyway, cannabis offense. Father Harold Sr., a relentless and passionate advocate, worked tirelessly to ensure its passage with the steadfast support of national nonprofit Freedom Grow. I spoke about them not that long ago. I definitely am going to have to reach out to them, go back a few episodes, talked about some of the great work that they do. Never had really heard of them before. I'd only really knew of the great work that my friend Steffi Sheps, who did an episode, was freed by the Last Prisoner Project and is now like, I believe, as of the last I talked to her a couple years ago, she was kind of running the show over at the Last Prisoner Project, which they have done a lot of great work getting people that are incarcerated in the feds for nonviolent cannabis related crimes. I'm actually going to do a follow up with my homegirl Natalia Wade and probably Steffi Sheps. If I can get a hold of her, I'm going to reach out to her. That's a good one. They were both awesome. Shout out to District Cannabis for hooking that up. Shortly after I interviewed old Ed Wiedenfeld, my guy Big Eddie, rest in peace, dude. Ed was a good dude. Motherfucker worked for Reagan. I think it's episode maybe 13 or 14. We did the interview from his office in downtown DC in a swanky fucking office. And, I brought what was that thing? The Pax vaporizer with some Bud Smith runts, his mineral weed, no nutrient additives other than some dry soil amendments, watered with mountain spring mineral water. We smoked that shit. Ed Wiedenfeld ain't never smoked no runts. Runts gang. Runts your life up. God, I love the fucking runts. It's just lemon cherry gelato. No, it's not. You're just saying that. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, digress. Um, Harold III, a father of four and former community preacher and youth coach. Whoa. Has been incarcerated since 2018, 6 years behind bars for cannabis charges in a state that has since legalized the very actions for which he was imprisoned. Shocker. He's also serving a 40-year suspended sentence with a 20-year mandatory minimum. What charges did he get and what was he doing as a youth coach and community preacher? I mean, I'm not judging. I'm not. I think that you can have whatever amount of weed this guy had to get jammed up and still be a preacher, love God, uh, reflect, develop a relationship with God. You can teach the youth. You can do all that and be on weed. Right? Anybody that tells you otherwise is a lethargic devil, and they are abiding by old school reefer madness propaganda. Okay, let it go. We're done with that shit. Been done with it. Quote. This bill gives judges the powers to correct past injustices, said Mitzi Wall, executive board member of Freedom Grow. It was an honor to speak in support of the Harold Morris bill in Annapolis, Maryland. I've known the Morris family for several years and could not be more pleased that the governor of Maryland has signed a bill which will allow judicial resentencing for marijuana convictions. Harold Morris is a passionate advocate who fought tirelessly for the passage of this bill. A newly passed law allows for judicial resentencing, giving judges the discretion to release qualifying individuals immediately with time served or to reduce their sentence to one eligible for parole consideration. However, the judicial process can take several months to unfold, and that's why Harold Sr., alongside Freedom Grow executive board member Mitzi Wall, who both testified powerfully at the bill's hearing, is now urging the governor to take immediate executive action and grant Harold Morris clemency. And I'm all about it. Let Harold free my guy. He didn't do nothing. Harold Morris, he didn't do nothing, man. Free him. But also, anyone that's got a case like Harold's, free them motherfuckers too. And do not, I repeat, Do not lock any more motherfuckers up for the plant. I don't care. But Elliot, there needs to be there's fucking laws. What if somebody has shut the fuck up? Grown folks are talking. Shut the fuck up. But Elliot, I'll beep. Anyway, there's a TikTok there. Freedom Grow has supported Harold's family throughout this journey. His children are on the organization's outreach program list, and every year Freedom Grow sends them gift cards to remind them they are not forgotten and to help them feel connected to their missing father. Sari Miller, Harold III's fiance and co-defendant. Oh, damn. You got the wifey's a co-defendant? ODs. Has attended numerous Freedom Grow events, passionately advocating on his behalf from State House hearings and to rallies in front of the White House. Harold's story has been shared nationwide, gathering hundreds of clemency support letters from concerned citizens and fellow advocates. Sherry says in Harold's trial, the judge stated on the record he had no choice by the law but to give him that much time. The new law is a game changer and allows the sentence to fit the situation and the offender. Such a huge relief to know this nightmare will soon be ending and Harold will be coming. Oh. You can contact Governor Westmore today and urge him to immediately grant clemency to Harold Morris Jr. Governor Moore's office is 410-974-3901. Address 1 Church Circle, Annapolis, Maryland 21401. You can go to governor.maryland.gov/contact-us. Um, you can also go to freedomgrow.org. There's a bunch of shit you can do. Okay, but free the guy, Harold, free all the other guys that are locked up for some weed shit. We all know prison lobbies lobby the hardest to keep weed illegal and make there be harsh sentences. And now probably the legal marijuana industry as well is also a part of that. But remember, if there's no nonviolent criminals to really pad those prisons, then it's not a great industry, a very profitable one as it currently is in the way that it currently is structured, and when you have most states, even some of the craziest lawed states that have always been big on weed prohibition, even them, the people are fucking telling you by overwhelming majorities, we want access to this shit. And somehow y'all just keep, I mean, look, and it's the people's fault. Somebody said this some time ago, but it's like the people that show, I think it was Chingona, Rita. Um, that bitch crazy. She had like when I first met her, Rita's a lawyer, loves to work in the cannabis realm. Super big on the social justice side. Definitely did some serious bitching during the COVID though about how she did not like that people were getting free stuff for getting shots when she did it to be a good person. Okay, then if you did it to be a good person, so what? So the fuck what if somebody's getting a free donut? All right? Shut the fuck up. I think she wanted me to smash. I should have, but she kind of looked weird. Had a pretty face, but her body was just shaped in a weird way. Not super into it. Um, should have taken one for the team, though. Could have definitely been way more beneficial of a relationship than it ended up being. And I think if I just gave her some wood, we could have really pushed forward in some ways. But she was talking about not enough people come out, and the people that do come out, uh, in the eyes of the people at the State House in Annapolis, really just what's the word? Further perpetuate these stigmas and stereotypes by looking like fucking maniacs. They look like the fuck. But you're going to the fucking State House, all right? Show some fucking respect, okay? These bought and paid for legislators are dumb as a box of rocks. All they can do is judge you by your outward appearance, and you're already losing because the fact of the matter is they don't give a fuck about weed. They want to know how they can get paid. And then they want to be told how to vote based on who got paid what. Maryland, if you go back to one of my episodes about the bill that pushed the adult use market forward, I get into who was donating what money to what nonprofits that were headed by what members of the assistant to the Speaker of the House in the State House. It's a lot of fuckery. There's been fuckery. If you didn't know, which a lot of people don't because they haven't even been around that fucking long in this Maryland marketplace. But the lady who Cheryl fucking whatever her name was taking bribes for diversity licenses. Black woman. The bribes weren't even for that much, but pretty sure she's doing some Fed time, or is definitely at the bare minimum on the box. Beer Bros Farms, good shit as per usual. I'm gonna have to look at this bill and find out a little bit more about what's going on there. And we're gonna go ahead and move on up to this is on Marijuana Moment, which I believe is another uh, news organization comparable to Beer Bros Farms, but I do not use as much. I do follow them on the gram. It's good shit. It's worth a follow. I do not want your daily newsletter, though. Get assaulted in my inbox. All right, Pennsylvania governor slams the GOP senators for ignoring voters by killing a marijuana legalization bill. This was May 15th, 2025. There was a lot of shit going on in Pennsylvania. Their state's got medical. There's um, good probable cause, smell situation. Um, in places like Philly, if you get caught with an ounce, it's a $25 ticket. I mean, other than having it on your shit, it's like, but like I said, I hate driving around. I got a little tiny little nugget on me, and I'm terrified every time I see a goddamn regional police. Most dangerous thing about cannabis, getting caught with it. I forget who made that quote, but it was a fucking good one. So back to the article. The governor of Pennsylvania is sharply criticizing the grand old party controlled state senate for ignoring, quotes, the will of the voters after killing a House passed bill to legalize it. Don't criticize it. Legalize it. After about a week, after the House narrowly advanced reform legislation, which would have created an adult use market with state-run dispensaries. You know, I actually am not terribly mad because I don't hate with a goddamn passion the idea of state-run dispensaries. When does the state ever run anything fucking good? It's just a fucking money grab. Like, holy fuck. And if you don't know, their liquor market is run by the state board. So it's like you can get beer fucking anywhere and wine, but if you want some liquor, you got to go to the state for that. They realize they could just make it themselves, tax it. Why fucking practice prohibition when you can just be the main supplier of the alcohol? Same for cannabis, which, brings in the greater ethical questions of, you know, the alternatives to alcohol, which I'm going to get into that in probably one of the next couple episodes. Been seeing some articles about drinks. I know in Ohio, they're talking about making drinks available only at liquor stores. Seems absurd to me as it's the alternative to liquor, but because of growing adult use marketplaces and growing generation and the older generation who once turned to alcohol has now switched and buys considerably less alcohol. I could tell you myself over the last few years, um, I drink considerably less, like not even close. And that was really just trying to be more healthy. You might catch me in the summertime with a beer here and there. I just love a cold one from time to time. But really, it's like the opportunity to drink is never there because I'm doing other active stuff, and that shit is a priority over. Oh, I'm gonna have a beer. Even worse, I'm gonna get drunk, and then I get drunk 37. You get drunk, and then you're fucking dragging ass the next 2 3 days. Not firing at 100% in most cases. Plus, I'm probably eating bullshit, which, my diet's not perfect, but I give myself the room to get a little funky with it because I don't eat a lot of fast food. Just is what it is. Back to the article. About a week after the House narrowly, blah, 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 Senate committee on Tuesday rejected the proposal from Representatives Rick Krajewski and Dan Frankel. Governor Josh Shapiro said during an interview with Wilk News Radio on Governor that the bill's rejection does a disservice does a disservice to the bipartisan majority of voters in the Commonwealth who support legalization, as well as the state itself that's losing out on potential tax revenue to neighboring states that have enacted the policy change. Yeah, that's because the dispensaries right on the Maryland line are like, come on over, bucko. There's definitely signage for the quote unquote Chesicana mega dispensary Walmart Chesicana Value Mega Supercenters. Let's see. Look, clearly people want it, Shapiro, who included legalization in his budget request for the third time this year. Poll after poll shows that. But if you want to ignore the polls and look at what's really happening, drive across the border to New Jersey or New York. He said if you go to an adult use cannabis dispensary, over 60% of the customers in those stores just outside the border of Pennsylvania are Pennsylvanians. They're going there. They've made the choice and they want to partake. It may or it may not be the choice that I make or you make, but it's a choice they make. Those dirty smokers. They want the right to do that, Shapiro said. Uh, well, we have the right to do that. You guys just infringe upon it. And while they go into Jersey and New York to purchase their cannabis legally, they're also paying taxes to those states, which means those states' roads and bridges and schools get funded. You like how he said those schools and roads and bridges? Shut the fuck up, man. That's not where that fucking revenue goes. That tax revenue goes into fucking uh different funds for enforcement of the laws that are enacted to protect the interest of the operators, at least in a marketplace where they're not using state run. Now, with state run dispensaries, does that mean they would have grows that are state run grows? Could you imagine working at the state run grow? I mean, you think working at fucking Sun Labs is bad. It's fucking Sun Med's bad. Or fucking Forward Grow. You think that's bad? Verona, wait till you fucking go. Wait till you fucking go to the communist state-run fucking grow. You think any of those people are giving a fuck? I don't. I mean, that's just my thought process based on what I've seen. This, if the people who invest millions of dollars into this shit don't give a fuck, why would the state who would be holding a monopoly give a fuck? They don't care. But they damn sure ain't using it for bridges and schools and roads. That's a fucking life. You know, just like they lied about fucking gambling. Yeah, we're gonna use that tax revenue for schools and roads and grows. No, it's fucking nah, that ain't what it goes to. Look, I've been clear about this for years. Pennsylvania needs to compete, and we're surrounded by states that have legalized, and they're reaping the benefits, the governor said. I think it's an issue of liberty. It is an issue of liberty. But you're trying to take that liberty away from humans by saying probably that you can't grow your own shit and you got to fucking go to the state-run shit. I haven't seen anything from Pennsylvania lately, but their med market was absolute garbage, like top tier bullshit. Um, Key goals of any legalization bills. Without specifically endorsing the legalization proposal that passed the House, Shapiro noted its advancement through the Democratic controlled chamber and recognized the need to compete with other states. Senate ignored the will of the people and basically shelved the bill and said they didn't want to move on it right now. This is going to have to require bipartisan compromise. I just think we can't afford to do nothing. And the Senate, I would hope, would reconsider just shoving this bill in a drawer and ignoring it and start listening to the people of Pennsylvania and start trying to be more competitive and recognize that we have an ability to reap the benefits from this. Legalization would also help right the wrongs of some things that have happened in the past for people who are convicted of possessing small amounts of marijuana in the past, the governor said. I think we should expunge those records, and I think there's an opportunity here for Pennsylvania to really lead on this issue, but it's going to require some action by the legislature, and I hope they'll step up soon and do it. Bitch, you can fucking pardon them. Governors pardon all of them. Put your money where your fucking mouth is. Enact the will of the people. It is an issue of liberty. So don't act like it's not. Don't act all fucking, well, my hands are tied. Governor, states' rights, brother. The Commonwealth needs you. Do what's right. Fuck the Senate. You can let every motherfucker out right now that has a nonviolent cannabis arrest. You can expunge every record. Fucking seal that. It's fucking just like Maryland did. You one day you're on case search and you got a fucking weed charge. The next day, none. It's gone forever. Bro, I'm actually about to send fucking the governor a goddamn pardon request. You know, I've been having my rights infringed upon for a long fucking time. and it's time that they stop doing that. Can't have that. Um, the Will Coast asked whether Shapiro feels it's time to put the issue up to voters, but the governor explained that Pennsylvania doesn't have a citizen-led ballot initiative process, that putting a referendum before voters would simply require the legislature's action. I'd rather see us just adopt this and get it done and start competing the way every state around us is at this point, he said. Every other state's reaping the benefits. I think we could see hundreds of millions in tax dollars and revenue. And listen, it's going to be a regulated industry. I think a benefit is that we shut down the black market right now, or we shut down the black market that exists right now to bring in a new black market, one where the regulated packs are going out the back door, baby. Get them in the clean, get them in the dark. We can right some of the wrongs in the past. They just all have these same fucking bullshit talking points. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little cynical about it, but fuck them. I think we can make sure that our small businesses, that these dispensaries are more locally owned, so we're creating economic opportunity. You want state-run dispensaries or small businesses? What is it, man? I mean, I would hope that it would be the correct thing and just open it up. Fucking bust the bitch wide open. I mean, I know all the fucking MSOs that are already here are gonna fucking be pissed. How does that work? Would they, if they had state-run shit, would they absorb the current dispensaries and say like some eminent domain type shit? I think there's a lot to unpack here, Pennsylvania. Following Tuesday's Senate committee vote, lawmakers from both chambers who support legalization have been trading criticism about each other's roles in this stalled push to end prohibition. Oh, they're filibustering. Oh, it's your fault. Look at this guy. For example, Frankel, lead sponsor of the House measure, took a hit at the Senate Law and Justice Committee Chairman Dan Laughlin after his panel rejected the measure, saying Republicans have had control of the Senate for 30 years, and the first time they bring up a cannabis legalization bill, it's to vote it down. The way it works is House passes the bill, Senate passes the bill, chambers work together with the governor to sort out the best possible law, he said. Cannabis is accessible and regulated, and PA communities benefit. Totally reasonable statement to be made there. The comments were in response to a Twitter post by Laughlin, who supports cannabis legalization, but said the state-run store model at Frankel wouldn't pass in the Senate. The House advancement of HB 1200 to the Senate wasn't a genuine legalization effort, but political theater, the senator said. I haven't received any discussions from House leadership or bill sponsors. Prior to the Senate's panel vote this week, Pennsylvania's Republican Attorney General said that while he doesn't currently support the House passed marijuana legalization bill, he's open to changing his mind about the policy change after continuing to review the details. The details are you motherfuckers need to pay him, and he will then change his opinion. It's that simple. We see it in every model from, at the bare minimum, the state level. Definitely feds all day. State, I'm sure. I mean, even in these DA races, you got Soros fucking pumping $1 million into these small counties to try to make fucking changes at the lowest levels, because that's where shit happens. You get destabilization from not prosecuting violent crimes, from putting people out, locking people up for dumb shit, and letting out real people, who got fucking some real criminal problems. It's a communist technique. Fucking, I don't know. Don't call me a conspiracy theorist. Go fucking read history, dude. Totalitarian technocracy is fucking under one government is the goal. Don't ever get it fucked up. These people hate you, and they hate me. For what it's worth, a recent poll found that Pennsylvania voters said they favor a model where cannabis is sold by licensed private businesses. Yeah, because fuck the state, rather than through a system of state-run stores. The governor has repeatedly called for adult use marijuana legalization. However, he hasn't endorsed the specific idea of having state-controlled model. Abby Major, Republican, is sponsoring another forthcoming legalization bill that envisions a traditional private sales model alongside Representative Emily Kinkead. I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it, said during the House floor debate on HB 1200 that she stands opposed to the competing bill, emphasizing that she disagrees with the state-run store's proposal. While Democrats control the House and governor's office, they will still need to reach a deal with the GOP-controlled Senate to effectuate change. And in addition to the conflicting perspectives among pro-legalization legislators, another potential barrier to reform is exactly that political dynamic. Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman, Republican, says that while he sees a path forward for enacting regulations for separate gaming-related reform, I'm not seeing consensus between the four caucuses and the governor collectively that marijuana legalization should be a priority. Regardless of which direction Pennsylvania lawmakers do or do not go on marijuana legalization this session, a survey released in April shows a majority of adults in the state support reform. And opposition to the policy change has fallen by nearly 50% over the last decade. Kincaid has made a case in another recent interview that legalizing cannabis in Pennsylvania will help the state mitigate public health and safety concerns. Yeah, because every state that has some form of legalization has a drastic reduction in overdoses. The reality is that when people have access to cannabis and all of its extracted forms and uh, different ways to utilize it, guess what? They don't want fucking fentanyl. They don't want heroin. They don't want opiates, period. You know, they want to smoke weed. I want to smoke weed, and while I fucking advocate for it because I love it, it may not be for everyone. I think some people are just, I don't know, like they should go back to not smoking, maybe. But who am I? Who am I to tell you what to do with your body? It's your body. You do what you want with it. I don't give a shit. If you want to fucking dope it up, dope it up. If you want to smoke it up, smoke it up. It is what it is. Oh, let's see. Back to the article, including the fact that oh my God, unregulated products can be laced with fentanyl. Are they though? I still just don't know if that's propaganda or what. Some people will say, I know somebody that got overdosed from fentanyl from a fucking vape shop. It's like, okay, but like, you know, I don't know. I'm not buying it. I just am not. I think there's probably a conversation maybe to be had about the idea of fentanyl in unregulated cannabis products, but I just have a hard time believing that it's not propaganda from big weed to get you to stop buying their shit and buy the fucking, m- mega discount center weed. Like it's always stop using their shit and use our shit, whether that's the pharmaceutical industry, weed industry. It's fucking petty. And people do goofy ass shit. And instead of focusing on what's important, like, how to better serve your fucking patients. Dude, my coffee has some infused coconut oil, and I am fried. When I say fried, I mean I'm absolutely fried. Lawmaker previously introduced a separate bipartisan marijuana legalization bill along 15 other co sponsors last September. It did not advance, however. Meanwhile, Laughlin recently called for the creation of a state legacy fund using tax revenue from adult use marijuana sales and gaming to make long term investments in the Commonwealth's economy. That means it ain't going to fucking roads, schools, and bridges. Senator argued that beyond using any resulting tax revenue to fund day to day projects and public services, the state should earmark a portion of those tax dollars for a fund to provide a sustainable source of prosperity that lasts for generations. Another GOP Pennsylvania Senator, Gene Yaw, is backing the push to legalize marijuana in the Commonwealth, pointing out that historically prohibition has not turned out well, noting the country's experience with alcohol criminalization. Pennsylvania House Speaker Joanna McClinton recently said Democrats are ready to pass the legalization bill this session, but the party will need Republican support to get the job done, adding it'll be a heavy lift. Polls have shown bipartisan support for the legalization among voters, but the reform has consistently stalled in the legislature, owing a large portion of GOP opposition. But not all Republican members are against the policy change, and one recently said that she felt her party should seize the opportunity to snatch the issue from Democrats. Yeah, fuck them libtards. Separately, in March, the Pennsylvania House approved a bill sponsored by Frankel that it meant to strengthen safety standards and oversight of the state's medical marijuana program as lawmakers work to advance the adult use legalization. This is a fucking long article. While PA's medical cannabis program was enacted nearly a decade ago, lawmakers say the measure, which now heads to the Senate, is necessary to improve testing compliance, product audits, and lab inspections, among other aspects of the industry. Meanwhile, PA Democratic lawmakers recently introduced a bill that would allow farmers and other small agriculture operators to sell marijuana they cultivate to existing growers and processors. The state moves to legalize adult use cannabis. Separately, an independent Pennsylvania agency is projecting more tax dollars to be generated from adult use marijuana sales compared to what the governor's office has estimated, although it expects a significantly less overall revenue from cannabis legalization due to differing views on licensing fees. Pennsylvania officials have launched a news survey that invites legal marijuana businesses across the country to provide information about their operations to help the state better understand the cannabis industry as lawmakers consider enacting adult use legalization. Also, in a video interview released in March, the governor emphasized that the state is losing out to others Yeah. Well, a policy that's enriched the illicit market. I think it's an issue of freedom and liberty. I mean, if folks want to smoke, they should be able to do that in a safe and legal way. Agreed. He said we should shut down the black market. And by the way, every state around us is doing it. Pennsylvanians are driving to those other states and paying taxes to those other states. They're just really fluffing this up right now. State's Agriculture Secretary separately told lawmakers that he fully confident the department is in a really good position to oversee an adult use marijuana program if lawmakers act. Meanwhile, in February, top Pennsylvania police and health officials told lawmakers they are prepared to implement marijuana legalization if the legislature moves forward, and they are stand ready to work together as the details of legislation achieve it are crafted. Oh my God. Prohibition's been a disaster. Sales model for cannabis, how alcohol and tobacco are handled. Dude, tobacco's handled so fucked up here. You have to pay taxes on everything that you get. Like you're taxed on buying the fucking tobacco, and then you also have to pay the taxes like up front of your projected sales for that. There is no deferring it. Whatever. Like it's my man at the smoke shop was telling me, you know. But he's like, he's all good because they're just like trapping out there. They'll straight weigh shit out. THCA flower. Love it. Let's see. Republican senator defended the push and regulate, calling it the most conservative stance. Yeah. Boom. And that's fucking it. Marijuana moment. Pennsylvania trying to get it done or at least act like they are. When you hear shit like at the end when the police chief's like ready to work hand in hand, that means he's ready to get his own fund that's a sign and signal to any private business. Hey, we're willing to protect your interest in the industry with whatever the law changes are, so we can make sure we crush out any black market. So they have to get to you. And again, more people will end up in jail for cannabis. It's like this cycle that just doesn't end, and it's the same people getting fucked every time. And now, hey, I don't know. I don't even fucking want to get into it right now. But hey, they don't grow fucking good weed, so make the fucking black market extra illegal and that pack price going back up. We'll see 6K packs again in no time. This bottomed out shit is not happening. Hey, it's June. It's fucking June. It's Men's Mental Health Month. Okay? Men's Mental Health Month. And why cannabis belongs in the wellness conversation is another Beard Bros article. Two out of my three BNN 420 episode articles were from Beard Bros. June is officially Men's Health Month. You'll see plenty of campaigns touting facts about cancer screenings, the importance of annual checkups, and mental health stigma. But few will mention what I believe is the most powerful wellness tools in existence: cannabis. Let me be clear. I'm not talking about weed for the sake of it. I'm talking about clean, tested, intentional cannabis. Okay, it's doing medical things in your body, regardless. Clean and tested, what does that even mean? You know? I mean, clean, we know what that means. But tested, the tests say whatever they want the people that are paying for it want it to say. Otherwise, the people that are paying for it would just pay somebody else who is willing to do that. Back to the article. Plant-based medicine is in its most evolved form. I'm talking about relief for the founders, leaders, and frontline entrepreneurs who are carrying incredible loads of burning out quietly behind the scenes. As someone who has scaled multiple businesses and now serves as CRO of Beer Bros Farms, I can tell you firsthand this industry doesn't allow much space for slowness or softness. But ignoring your own physical and mental well-being is not a strategy. It's a liability. And cannabis, when used with purpose, is one of the most effective tools we've got to shift that narrative. That's why we're proud to launch Men's Cannabis Health Month this June, an industry first initiative aimed at putting cannabis where it belongs, in the center of the conversation about men's health, leadership, longevity, and holistic success. The stigma still kills. Despite progress, men in America still die younger than women. We're less likely to go to the doctor. We're more likely to commit suicide. We're more likely to abuse alcohol and tobacco. We're more likely to suffer in silence. This is the byproduct of a cultural script that rewards rugged individualism and punishes vulnerability. But leadership isn't about stoicism, it's about sustainability, and the statistics don't lie. Men live an average of 7 years less than women. 1 in 11 men will develop prostate cancer. Men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide. African American men face the highest global incidence of prostate cancer and have been disproportionately targeted by cannabis criminalization. Okay. That last point stings. We've spent decades pushing men, and especially men of color, for cannabis use while ignoring the plant's medicinal value. That systemic disconnect that helped us uphold a wellness program that excludes cannabis entirely from Men's Health Month programming. It's time to change that. The B2B cost of unchecked stress. Let's zoom in on the cannabis industry for a minute. We are an industry of doers, operators, growers, marketers, and mission driven founders. Our work is grueling, heavily regulated, undercapitalized, and misunderstood. If you're not careful, it'll chew you up and spit you out. The real problem? Too many of us still equate burnout with progress. This month, I challenge you and every B2B leader reading this to flip the script. Taking care of your body and brain is not indulgent, it is foundational. If you want to scale a business, show up for your team, and make the right strategic calls, you have to start from a place of wellness. I agree with all this. I mean, this is pretty spot on here. In my opinion, should be the caveat of like most of you are burnt out because you're not being effective or executing effectively. I myself am guilty of this. Um, Cannabis is uniquely suited to support that goal. Cannabis does what other medicine can't. Let's consider what's actually killing us: heart disease, chronic stress, anxiety and depression, cancer, alcohol and tobacco addiction. Cannabis supports nearly every one of these conditions without the long term organ damage or dependency associated with many pharmaceutical treatments. Still, Men's Health Month campaigns rarely acknowledge it. Here's why it should. Cardiovascular support. Cannabis has been shown in some studies to reduce blood pressure and inflammation and support vascular health. Cannabis interacts with the endocannabinoid system, regulating mood and reducing symptoms of anxiety, PTSD, and depression in many consumers. Cancer relief. Cannabis can help with pain management, nausea, and appetite during treatment, especially relevant for prostate and testicular cancer. Addiction alternatives. Cannabis offers a far safer alternative to alcohol or tobacco for those seeking social or stress relief outlet. I don't know why they're just talking about alcohol and tobacco. We know it can help with the other ones. Say it, beer bros. Stress recovery. Whether you're running operations, sales, or marketing, cannabis can help you downshift your nervous system after a high performance output. And let's be honest, if cannabis were a patented pill, it would already be in every men's health brochure. Responsible use in the modern market. One of the best parts of regulated cannabis: control and choice. Modern cannabis isn't just get high or don't. Today's products come in precise doses, formulations, and delivery formats that allow you to find what works for your lifestyle. RSO and tinctures for long-lasting full-spectrum relief without combustion, topicals for targeted pain and inflammation relief, sublinguals for fast onset without smoking, edibles and capsules, predictable discrete dosing, vapes and flower for faster relief, now with COAs and terpene transparency. Then there's an ad for Beer Bros RSO. Men's health is family, company, community health. It's not about the individual. When men prioritize their health, mental and physical, it changes, and spiritual, motherfucker, changes everything. You show up differently for your partners, your employees, your kids, your community. Agreed, 100%. I'm a living, breathing example of this. Congressman Bill Richardson said back in '94, recognizing and preventing men's health problems is not just a man's issue, it's truly a family issue. We believe it's also a business issue. That's why we're not just writing about it, we're building spaces where it's lived out loud. Men's Health Month needs cannabis, and more importantly, so do the men carrying the weight of this industry on their shoulders. If you're reading this, you probably spent more time this year worrying about your bottom line than your blood pressure. Nevertheless, let's change that. Let's normalize plant-powered performance, purpose-driven leadership, and community-based wellness. So the next generation what real strength looks like, baby. Starts with one shift, one sesh, one better choice, and we'll meet you there. Dude, that got me kind of fired up, beer bros. Anytime a company focuses on utilizing cannabis for health, I mean, really one of the first like high performers that I really saw in person, old Eugene Monroe, ex Baltimore Raven, cannabis entrepreneur, longtime veteran in the game. Started out in Vegas, is involved in the Maryland market, Jersey too, I believe. And he's done a lot for the fucking plant. And when I went and worked out with one time, I mean that motherfucker smokes. I mean, god damn. Him and his homie, dude, they get fucking roasted. And I fucked around and didn't handle business. That dude fucking I was done after the warm up. Now this was pre my big push on fucking working out and whatever. So I'd like another go around one day. But I've tried to get Gene on the podcast, just hadn't worked out, a couple times, so I haven't hit him up in a long time. Maybe it's time to reach back out, find out what's up. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll find out. Stay tuned. Just released a bunch of shit on my YouTube, caught up. Now this one will be sitting in the queue for a minute. I am gonna try to knock that out, dig up a bunch of fucking clips and organize them so I can just drop some more clips, man. Just trying to drop the clips. And what else? Anything else going on? You can support the show. You can go to my Patreon. I've not been as active as I should be on there, but I promise I'm going to get back in there and start putting some shit together. Get back on the way of the Superior Man. I got to go and watch the last video, see what the last one I posted was, and rock from there. But it's a fucking great book. You should go check it out. You can go to my YouTube, like some shit, go listen to some shit. Um, there's a bunch of other random videos, not just podcast episodes on my YouTube page, Lord Bongtimore. I'm also starting another YouTube with some audiobooks of the books that I'm trying to read but have a hard time dedicating the time to. When that gets set up, I will let you know. You can also support yourself. If you're looking for a place for community, brotherhood, friendship, fraternity, think about becoming a Mason. Your boy's a Freemason, PA. You can go to be a PA Mason.org or be a PA Freemason.org. If you're in Maryland, probably Google Maryland Masons, find your Grand Lodge, call them, they'll connect you. But it ain't for the faint of heart, it ain't for fucking fuck offs. This is about making real change for the world. So, and by making yourself better, put the man together, the world falls into place. Bunkmore out.